And we are back once again with Exploring the Blueprints of Your Life with Debbi Coleen, Eastern and Western Astrology Considered. We're looking at the patterns of our lives through these wonderful tools, through the Chinese astrology in particular. And today's show, we're focusing on people that are born in the year of the dragon, the snake, the horse, and the sheep, and how that influence in sheep year, how that coincides. When we're living in a sheep year, which we are, February 19th, I believe, 2015, begins the Chinese New Year of sheep year, ending horse year, moved into sheep year, and then the people that are on their birthdays were born in dragon, snake, horse, or sheep, and how that will relate to this particular year for them with Debbi Coleen. And as I've mentioned before, you can go online. Debbi mentioned previously that you can go on to Wikipedia or something like that and just Google it to find out what year you were actually born in, because the Chinese years are a lunar calendar, and so it won't fit exactly like on the January 1st date is not necessarily the end. There's a bit of a delay there between January and February. So if your birthday falls in there, even close to March, you might want to check and see which year you were born in. So we're going to get into this with Debbi right now. Debbi has actually prepared these particular explanations in written form in a regular column she does for True Blue Spirit. So, and we'll ask her about that. Welcome to the show, Debbi.
Thanks, Catherine. Great to be here.
It is. It's always fun to explore with you. And as I mentioned in the beginning, this is something that you do and have been doing with, you've been writing a column for True Blue Spirit magazine online for several years now.
Yes, I started in Year of the Tigers. So tiger, rabbit, dragon, snake, horse, and now sheep years. I've written 6 issues per year in True Blue Spirit magazine, which I believe is truebluespirit.com. And I think that's a magazine with a free sign up for people to read the articles, not just my article on Chinese astrology, but many interesting articles, amazing writers, such a wealth of information. I just can't say enough good stuff about this magazine. Used to be in published form, and now is
in printed form. Yeah,
and printed. Yes.
Yeah.
And now it's all written online. It's such a great opportunity to for me to express the things I love to express, and also to read about some of the very interesting things that the other writers share. I agree.
There's some amazing articles on it, but written by many different people. So I love that.
Yes.
Yeah, you know.
And now that it's online, it's a magazine that people are all around the world are having access to, which is, I find, very exciting.
It is very exciting. So when we concluded our last segment, we were talking about the first 4 animals in the Chinese Zodiac: rat, ox, tiger, and rabbit. And today, as they are influenced by the year of the sheep. And today we're moving into talking about people born in the dragon, snake, horse, and sheep year in the year of the sheep, and how the sheep's influences on each one of them. So shall we start with the dragon?
Let's start with dragon. You know, dragon is the only mythological creature in the 12 animals of the Chinese Zodiac. So it has a very special spot.
Wow.
And it's where we kind of go up and have a broad view, but it's also sometimes not as grounded as some of the other signs. So people in dragon year need to pay attention in sheep year of how it is to be human, to, put energy into relationship, not to neglect family and partnership, even though it's going to be a very busy work year for dragon. In fact, many people are going to find that with all the new opportunities that have come out of horse year and are ready to be put into more, into use, the next stage of their development in sheep year, it's going to be a year of working with people to develop these opportunities. But it doesn't just mean in the world of business, which many of the signs, including dragon, often get lured into. So we need to remember that family and friends and relationship are very important, need to have time set aside purposefully, because otherwise our busy work schedules can expand and take up precious time and remove us from the very relationships that support us. Sometimes we're not remembering where we get our rest, relaxation, feelings of esteem and love. And this is something that Dragon will need perhaps to be reminded of this year. It's a great year in those relationship attention. If Dragon puts their energies and their awareness onto relationship, they're going to see some patterns, and they're going to see where they get that support and how important that is, rather than just spending it or focusing their attention on the outer relationships of work and the creation of, doing what we are out there in the bigger picture of the world.
Right. Okay.
So Dragon, this isn't always Dragon's style to pay attention to this. They love to get up high there and fly high with great new ideas. It's a good time to pay attention to the smaller places in life and to
Debbie,
the wind beneath their wings sort of thing.
Yeah, but wouldn't then being a sheep's influence is strong on the practical aspects and the grounded, wouldn't that support, if Dragon is conscious of it and aware of it, that this would be the year to actually support Dragon in coming down here for a bit and walking around and taking care of the earthly parts?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And I mean, this is a year of peacefulness and harmony. And, it's easy to be at peace and in harmony with ourselves, but let's practice it where it really, right at home.
But I'm thinking, Dragon has that energy also of, that fire, and if so, this might be the year where you got to hold on to your fire a little bit and work with sheep. So, because if you're blowing your fire on sheep, that could be not good.
Not good at all. And Dragon in the Chinese mythology is actually a very powerful in its energies and fiery, but it's a rather benign creature. So it doesn't have that dangerous edge so much that we're used to thinking in the Western world, although of course they are powerful.
Yeah, but if you can use your power in a practical, if you're supported this year in not just being the visionary flying up high and seeing what's going on, but actually coming down, working with sheep, then you're supported. Then sheep energy would support you in maybe where you haven't had that ease in the practical, like you say, family and creating these relationships. Maybe this would be the year for that.
That's right. Pay attention, pay attention, pay attention.
Right. Okay, so
and that's where we move into Snake.
Yeah, a little more grounded.
Snake is very grounded, and Snake has a powerful energy of its own. The Snake can be under the surface of things. Snake lives on the surface and underground, and it has to keep very close to the earth, and it does. So it sees everything. It also has sometimes a trigger of attack. If it feels threatened, Snake may attack, and this is just not the thing to do this year. This is where Snake may be misreading the peaceful energy of sheep and do themselves some harm by using their power in a more aggressive way. Okay, this is a great year to use their power to see within and to harmonize with the earth, harmonize with the environment, harmonize with the people around them. So unconsidered reactivity can really not work for snake.
Okay.
It can be perceived as being too much in, the
Overreactive.
Yes, and sheep year brings out that caution in us. And so we already have a caution sometimes around snake because they see so deeply. It's a little scary to have these snake beings that are so profoundly, they see within, see our ghosts. However, when snake takes attention to their friends, you get gifts and many opportunities coming to them. So it's not a bad year at all for snake. It's just that relationship and reputation are very much there for snake. They need to have some caution about how they're perceived and how they respond.
So this is a year of more contemplation before action kind of year.
Yes, it is. Look before you leap. Think before you react, because the energy is a little more timid, a little more cautious. It's a good year to remember that we want to equalize our energies with other people. So if we walk into a room, it's good to take kind of a moment to judge what's going on in there. Get the lay of the land, get the feel of the vibe, and to match the vibe. That's how we can really do ourselves some great favors, matching the vibe of wherever we're at. And that's a sign of a very practiced, wise being. It doesn't mean giving up ourselves or changing ourselves. It just means that we consciously choose to equalize with other people.
So the competitiveness of perhaps past years, that's not going to serve us in this year.
That's right. Competitiveness is
I've been feeling that's one word that I totally get how it can be very destructive to actually us moving forward. We've it's often been taught to us that it's so good, don't compete with others, just compete with yourself, or do compete with others or whatever. But it feels to me like that's not really serving us.
That's right. Harmony means harmony within ourselves and harmony with the energies of other people. It can work at every level. Yeah. So that's where sheep really gives us a gift, and snake can pay attention to that, because snake knows the temperature of the room, knows the vibe right away. Okay. And it's good to loosen ourselves, to step back from our immediate response, to contemplate. That's the great word. And to make choices and to choose the comfort, the peacefulness of the relationship above others. That's what will really work.
So more go with the flow, more don't resist, just sort of go
and
with
that
it.
Means, yes, exactly, don't resist, but also it means we can be very clear about when we're stepping into something, where we're bringing an agenda in. And if we're not clear on our agenda, we can see it pretty quickly. Going to show up. And not to be attached. That's another one to our view of things and our agendas and our expectations and our needs. Doesn't mean forgetting them, but it means to be aware of them.
Okay. So
then we have horse.
Yeah, then we have horse, which we just finished horse year, but now we're talking about people born in horse year, living in this year of the sheep, February of 2015. Horse
is going to really recognize a lightening up, because in our own year, and horse has just come out of their own year, there's more responsibility because we're the host. there's more details to take care of, more a bit of a burden to make sure that setup, entertaining, and cleanup get done. Then that doesn't mean we have to do it all in our own year, but we need to delegate and make sure that that is taken care of. So once we move out, as Horse is doing, into the new year, there's a kind of a relaxation.
Oh.
And
so right now, Horse people are, as we're going through this transition, they're just kind of cleaning up and making sure everything's done. Okay.
That's right. And so they move into Sheep year with some really good skills, because they're tribe animals, and they're herbivores. They're not threatening in any way to sheep. So there's a good energy match there. Of course, Horse likes a lot more room. One thing that's really going to show up in a lot of areas, not just for Horse, but definitely for Horse, and many other signs, is because it's a relationship year, we're going to start meeting people. And if people aren't in relationship, they can very quickly find new and interesting people who are potential partners. And especially for Horses, they're very likely to find that partner, and romance can blossom, not just within new relationships too, but also for the relationships that are already we're in. We can bring more romance in by paying more attention, by being more harmonious and paying attention to the vibe of our personal relationship, our love relationship. So romance, especially for Horses, is great. Horses may very well find their life partners this year.
Huh. Mm-hmm. Oh, it makes sense after going through a big year of their own personal year of work and whatever, and then when you relax, that's often how I've noticed in a lot of people's relationships, when they stop looking, when they stop working so hard at it, it's just like, whoosh, somebody just shows up because they're more relaxed. They're more themselves.
That's right. And also they've done a lot of inner work, conscious of it or not. But when we're in our own year, a lot of our own personal issues are really brought to the forefront for us to deal with in whatever the energy of our zodiac year is. So Horse, in terms of their love of freedom and their ability to react and respond quickly, they're going to have had a look at themselves in a deeper way. And so they probably have cleaned out some blockages, have become more aware of what they want in relationship and with in their future, more settled, throwing away things that aren't working for them and focusing in on areas that have more juice for them. That's what they're going to be doing this year. And so knowing ourselves better and cleaning out those blockages often opens the path to relationship in a better, more comfortable, and more active way.
Yeah, that makes sense. Something we talk about a lot is that do your own work first and clean up yourself before you are offering yourself in another relationship. Because I think you've mentioned this before too, is, in a relationship, there's you and the other person plus the relationship is another entity almost.
That's right.
So that's very cool.
Well, and what do they say? If you're looking for Mr. Right, you need to make sure you're Miss Right already.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly the point. But you have to know who you are before you can, because otherwise you're attracting people that may not fit you because you don't know who you are.
That's right.
So, you might be thinking that you're being all the right things because you're trying to be someone else. And so having come through a year where you've done your own work, but, chances are you're in a better position. You know yourself. And that's the thing about Horse Year too. Horse Year has encouraged all of us to become more authentic and also to deal with the places in us where we have fears that are unfounded. Yeah. So then at this point, Horse is in Sheep year. Is this going to be an easier year for Horse?
Yes, much more relaxed. They come out of their year knowing much more about themselves, what they want, more focused. So they've done the deep work and now they're ready to put that into action. So while they might meet up at the beginning of sheep year with some kind of resistance from, changing direction a bit,
Right.
very quickly that will change and they'll move into what they really want to create, especially in terms of relationship and the opportunities that they've decided they want to pursue in the next 12 years.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about sheep, and sheep's the host of this year, as you refer to it, because it's the year of the sheep. So how does that look for sheep?
That looks like more of what actually happens to sheep kind of regularly, because they're the responsible, reliable ones who show up and get things done. Usually without complaining. They're very very meticulous about taking care of the details and making sure everyone's comfortable. But this is a year for sheep to learn how to ask for help and to assign jobs to other people, knowing what, who needs to do what, having expectations that other people are going to do their share to make everything work. So, yeah. And so those extra details do come to the person who's the host of the year. But there's also another benefit, that this is the peaceful, harmonizing energy that sheep loves. So they'll recognize the energy of this year and be fairly comfortable with it, allowing them to move into some new areas of learning how to deal with asking for that help that they need.
So they're comfortable with this energy. So in a way, it feels better, but they have more responsibility.
That's right. And sheep is no stranger to responsibility. It's just how they deal with it this year. That's going to be something new. There's also some family issues for sheep to deal with, because wherever there's been hidden issues, secret agendas, stories that, are not helpful, relationships that, where people just kind of make do without telling the truth or put up with, those things are going to be kind of unraveling for sheep, because they often have too much of that in their life. Sometimes they just put up with things in order to have the peace that they long for, and that is going to unravel a bit.
Is that going to unravel on a bigger level too for globally, because of the energy of the sheep?
Yes. So the underdogs are going to be barking back this year. So sheep is going to have, and yet that harmonizing, peaceable energy is there, but it's where it's not authentic, where things are out of balance. Unequal relationships are going to be shifting, because sheep is about uncovering those unbalanced relationships. And of course, a horse is all about that too. Horse is about equal relationships. So we've had a whole year of those things being brought to light. And we can see from the world political stage that, yes, people are not putting up with being leaned on and sidelined and
dominated.
Dominated.
Yeah.
Or even dominating, because dominating has its own pressures as well. So in sheep year, we deal with that, and more of it comes to light, and things are rebalanced, that we're out of balance. The harmony comes, the answers to the problems, the bigger context that's needed for more people to have their needs met, rather than a small context where some people control what the needs are. We're seeing that in the world, and we're seeing that in our own lives too, if we look deeply.
So this is interesting. So this is the year where sheep is fully supported now the truth can come out, and because the old paradigm where we just go along, don't make waves, that's not going to work anymore, because the behavior has been inappropriate, unbalanced, unequal. So now we're stepping into, it's time to, like, if I'm getting this right, not so much just go around finding out who's to blame and all that. It's just that it's coming out, this is not acceptable anymore. This behavior won't work.
What are we going to do about it?
What are we going
to do about it? That's what, you know, what are the legal ramifications? What are the, you know, where's the housing coming from? Where's the food going to hit the table? That's what Sheep is going to really be concentrating on this year, to get those things into the human consciousness and stay there in some form or another to kind of put down the basic foundation so that we are aware of the unfairnesses and willing to adjust our behaviors and adjust our expectations to be more real. So some people are going to have to give up some things. And those things are the things that are not...
Maybe they've taken and weren't theirs in the first place, or overextended their reach into other people's pockets, so to speak.
Well, and sometimes people who've taken on more responsibility to decide how it should be for other people, it's a big job. It's very uncomfortable. They're not going to like it. You know, it's a big burden. So a lot of people are going to be putting down those burdens, and other people are going to be picking up and changing things so that everyone, we're moving into this community choice making where, you know, things actually get simplified. You know, this is what happens. Things get simplified even while they're more complex, because that's what the universe is always doing. It's always evolving into more complex things, but yet we're able to handle that complexity so that there's more choices, more possibilities. So in that, you know, my favorite analogy, if you don't just like your coffee with cream and sugar, you might want to have some steam in your coffee or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. We have more choices now.
That's right. Starbucks is developing, you know, so that
I want Starbucks to start paying you, Debbie, because you advertise for them every time you talk about coffee. And I'm telling you, it's not my thing, but I always love that you do that.
Well, I'm for choice. That's what I'm for. And I appreciate that Starbucks has given us those choices.
Yeah.
You just, you know, quickly, and we're going to see more choices everywhere.
Yeah, I'm all for coffee. I just, I don't drink. I don't usually drink it when I'm out. I'm a home coffee person. But
well, I don't drink coffee at all, so it's a very unusual.
But it's funny.
Analogy, but.
Yeah. I just think it's funny because of the name and everything. That's, you know, star money.
Yeah. Well, Starbucks and Starseed. Maybe that's what my connection is.
It might be. Okay, well, so I think now that's the next 4 in the 12 animals. And then we're going to do another segment where we're going to cover the next 4 animals in the Chinese Zodiac and explore more about how they're going to be influenced by this year of the sheep. So
that's right.
Thank you so much, Debbie, for joining us and helping me and helping everyone else to understand better the patterns of our lives.
My pleasure. Thanks, Catherine.
You bet. And to everyone else, if you want to look for more shows and see the previous shows on this or other issues and topics, because we explore an awful lot on Let's Get Real Chatting with Catherine and on the expanding global network that I call the Exquisite World Global Network. So lgrcc.com and to check out all the shows. Until next time, take care. We are creating an exquisite world. Until next time, take care.